discuss what is excess demand and deficit demand. We have seen earlier that excess demand means a situation where aggregate demand is more than that of aggregate supply, whereas deficit demand means that demand is less as compared to aggregate supply. What are the measures to correct it? There are certain measures to correct. What is that? Let us understand that there what corrective steps should be implemented, what is its effects, and what are the pros and cons of deficit and excess demand. Now let us clearly understand that is what are the measures to correct excess and deficit demand. Over here in grade 12 you will be learning that there are instruments through which the government can control excess demand and deficit demand. First is that is fiscal policy, that is government revenue and government expenditure. The second one is monetary policy. Third one is foreign trade policy and other measures. But for grade 12 you will only learn these two topics, that is fiscal policy and monetary policy. These are the main two importance through which the government can control excess demand and deficit demand. Over here in fiscal, again taxation, public borrowing, public expenditure and budget. These are the points that government has to take care to reduce excess demand and deficit demand. Monetary policy is again another instrument of government through which the government can control, and in that is cash reserve, bank rate, open market operation, marginal requirement, moral suasion and direct action. Foreign trade policy, that is import surplus policy, export surplus policy and other measures, that is key wage policy, full utilization of existing resources, MSP, etc. But over here we will discuss mainly two, that is fiscal and monetary policy. Let us understand what is fiscal policy. Policy of government relating to public expenditure, taxation and management of public debt. In short, government is taking care of all the expenditure and their revenue. The policy adopted for correcting excess demand, that is inflationary and deflationary gap, is known as counter-cycle fiscal policy. Fiscal policy adopted to control inflation is called anti-inflationary fiscal policy. Fiscal policy adopted during deficit demand, it is known as anti-deflationary fiscal policy. Classified into again two parts, that is discretionary measure and non-discretionary measure. Discretionary measure means the measure which are adopted by government using discretion and will. The government has using forcefully these things, and government is taking care that whatever is being said is followed by the people. The policy regarding public expenditure on road construction, education, healthcare, maintenance of law and order, defense of the country, rural electrification, etc. All these are discretionary measure. All this happens with the will and wish of government. Non-discretionary measure, it refers those built stabilizer of income which come into operation automatically. The government would not be there for non-discretionary, they will come into existence of their own. One is progressive tax income and transfer payment like unemployment allowances, old age pension, etc. There are non-discretionary because they operate automatically when economic activity goes up and down. The government has nothing to do with it so far. Then the second one is public borrowing. Public borrowing or public debt is a borrowing of public authority. When excess demand happens, what the government will do? Government borrow more money from the public. This will reduce the purchasing power of the public, and hence the aggregate demand will be reduced, and AS would B equal as AD. In case of deficit demand, in order to leave more money with the public and to increase effective demand, the government will reduce the size of the public borrowing. It will also repay old public debts during this period. Now, in case the government excess demand, the government will borrow more. In case of deficit demand, the government will borrow comparatively less. With this, the fiscal is ended. Now let us understand what is the role of monetary policy. Now, monetary policy, any conscious action taken by the monetary authorities, that is central bank, that is also known as Apex, and RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India, to change the quantity, availability or cost of money. To correct excess demand, the central bank follows anti-inflationary monetary policy or dear money policy, which is the policy that makes money dear and costly. Over here, in monetary policy, the bank RBI, bank means RBI, will raise the rate of interest. As a result, the money borrowed by the commercial bank would now be comparatively costlier. Okay. Monetary policy adopted during deficit demand is known as anti-deflationary money policy or cheap money. Over here, RBI makes loan cheaper for the commercial bank. As a result, commercial bank is demanding more because the rate of interest is now reduced, which makes the money cheaper by the reduction of interest rate and by availability of credit. Now, bank rate. Bank rate is also known as a discount rate, or bank rate is the rate at which the central bank lends to the commercial bank. In case of excess demand, central bank rises bank rate. This makes credit costlier, interest rate will increase, and the demand for credit will fall, which reduce the purchasing power of effective demand. In case of deficit demand, rediscounting rate or bank rate will be lowered in order to expand credit capacity of commercial bank. Now, the bank monetary policy helps to reduce excess demand and deficit demand with the help of bank rate. When bank rate rises, nobody will buy loan, and when it would be decreased, everybody would be demanding. Open market operation, buying and selling of government securities in open market by central government is known as open market operation. Over here, the central government or the government, they are buying and selling the securities with the help of the central bank. In case of excess demand, the central bank will sell these securities in open market. The central banks, so the excess money with the people will be parked in the central bank. In case of deficit demand, the central bank will purchase back the securities from the market. Margin requirement. Margin requirement refers to the purchase of down payment of borrowing to finance purchase of stocks by firms. Suppose if you want to buy something on EMI, you need to pay the down payment. So this is the margin requirement, is the down payment. In case of excess demand, the margin required fixed would be high. This will reduce the excess demand. Margin requirement are fixed high. This will discourage the speculation on borrowed credit. It will reduce inflationary pressure in the economy. In case of deficit demand, margin requirements are fixed low during depression. This helps to pump more credit in the economy. Now, moral suasion. The central bank may issue advice, request, appeals to the member of banks to cooperate with the credit policy of the central bank. In case of excess demand, member banks are requested to reduce the supply of credit. In case of deficit demand, the central bank may issue advice, request, appeal to the member banks to expand their credit facilities. Now with this we have reached to the almost end of this chapter, that is excess demand and deficit demand. Let us conclude very fast. These are the measures taken to control inflation and deflation in India. The success of anti-inflationary and anti-deflationary policy depends on several factors. It may not produce the expected result always. However, earlier adoption of such policy is necessary to prevent economic crashes. The government will always be there to monitor these activities. As a result, we were saved from the Great Depression of 2008. Thank you. In case if you have doubt, please let me know. Thank you very much.